All right, everyone. Hello, everyone. How you all doing today? Let me go ahead and flip the screen. Okay, we have a guest right here, Edward Alonso. He's the WordPress developer.
Designer, developer,
Can
everything.
he hear you? See if he can hear you.
Can you hear me? If you
Can you hear me now?
slap my face.
Start. They already give us a heart already.
Hearts, so I think that's a good thing.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
sweet.
All right. So I know you have a headset right there. So today's topic is, what's the topic?
The topic is, I'm setting up some things to show.
Okay. So today's topic, this is basically when you install WordPress, there are 5 ways of installing WordPress. And the one that Edward is teaching today, it's mostly for like developers and how to do it locally. It's something like, like businesses needs to do, okay? So this is a San Antonio marketing group, and this is a live workshop, which means I won't be able to interact with you guys. So if you want to listen and watch the presentation, you're more than welcome. So Edward, the floor is yours, buddy. Go ahead.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Family. So today we're going to talk about speeding up your WordPress development. It's a series of classes. This is just one part of that series that will help you build up to having a faster development. The first one we're going to talk about is setting up a local WordPress install. And that requires a bunch of things, and we'll get into those more. And I'll also show you what our end goal will be and how that's very different from our current, from probably your current methods. Yusuf already went through the sponsors. This is my information. You can find it on the slides. Sorry. Find it on the slides. You can also find my social media on there, which is the new e-com for like most things, or if LinkedIn, Edward Alonso, and GitHub/Sir Hair. Those will be helpful later.
And this is already uploaded to the Meetup. So if you want to download it, just go to the Meetup, go to More, go to Files, and download it.
Right. It's already uploaded to the Meetup, and it's called Edward Slides because I was very uncreative. All right. So why do we need to speed up our development? Do you have a question?
I do have a question.
Yes.
2 of us here have virtual machines on our computers already.
Okay.
With PHP and SQL.
Yep.
Will this conflict or create a problem? Are we creating a second virtual machine through this process tonight?
When you say virtual machine, do you mean you actually have a server running, or do you have a virtual machine running? Okay, then as long as in either case, as long as your virtual machine is not running currently,
Okay.
it should be fine. They shouldn't conflict.
Okay. So just make sure they're not running at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, because they probably access the same ports. I mean, when you're doing your virtual machine, how do you manage it? Through just your Bash. Yeah, you shouldn't have a problem.
Okay.
I don't think you'd have a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. So why do we want to speed up our process? Well, often our traditional update method is FTP to your site, download a file, edit that file, upload that file, refresh your browser, realize that your caching is still on, go change your caching, turn it off, reload, refresh, repeat the process, and then realize again that your firewall protection is on through Cloudflare. It's a sort of a frustrating process, and it takes time because you have to upload the file, edit the file, upload the file, edit the file, refresh, refresh, refresh. What our goal ultimately is to edit the file locally, have your computer automatically refresh your local installation, so you don't have to do anything. You just press Enter, and it refreshes, and then repeat. And then when we're done, sync it to the website. So let me show you, and this is where this comes in. So let's see, localhost. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a mature website. I don't want rid of, hold on, Control C. I'm actually on the wrong. There we go, exit. A website that I developed for a client. Get bash here. Okay. And all I have to do to set up my environment is type in gulp, because I've already configured all the files. It's going to run this. It's going to take a few seconds. It's loading a lot of things that are going to do automatically things like prefix your CSS. So often when you have CSS, you have different browsers. you have to make sure that you know all the CSS prefixes. This will automatically do that. You just type in the right code, and it'll just make sure you have your moz, you have your whatever. So that's still working. There it's loading. All right, and I will tell you in 1 second. Now, if you guys on your phones or on your laptop type in this number on a web browser, .2 font the main group 20 dot and tell me if you see a website on your phone.
Can you get rid of the blue?
Out to all of you this file. Now keep your eye on the site and watch what happens when I click. But basically what you can do is you can have multiple tabs open, or multiple tabs of multiple sizes. I update a file. I'm in the right project. So here are some variables. They're the variables and modules. All right, so I'm going to change the background color. And this is Sass right here. When you start with Sass, you can just use normal CSS. You don't have to do this fancy stuff that I'm doing. But I'm going to change this variable. You see this variable? I'm going to change it to a different variable over here. And we're going to change the background of the whole color.
What is
Sass is a faster way of doing CSS. That's it. It's called a preprocessor. S-A-S-S. Sass. And the really great thing is it has a lot of different features that we'll go over in a future class. But one of the best is being able to do math. You can type in like 500 minus 20 or x minus y instead of having to do like the calculations yourself. You can even do percentage maths, and it's great. So we'll change that to CP purple, if I can spell that right. There we go. S, I saved it. Now what's going to happen over here is it is noticing that I changed it, it finished it, and changed the file. Now on your link, what is the? It did not. Wait, did it do it? Yeah, you can see the purple, right? Instead of teal, it's now purple in the background.
I have to refresh it.
It should automatically refresh.
Colorblind family can help you, but
Oh, yeah, yours is purple, I think.
yeah, I think it's
Mine was purple to begin with.
It's purple to me.
You said 192, 168, 202?
192.168.2.202 :3000/capstone.
Capstone?
Yeah, sometimes there's sometimes configuration differences between different laptops. So basically, it'll change. It should sync on different browsers, so you can see them automatically. And it automatically did it. If you notice on mine up here, I didn't have to actually refresh my thing. I just switched back to my browser to actually see the changes. So all I had to do was just save it. The processor ran it and then refreshed it for me automatically. And that's our goal, is to make this as fast as possible to develop. I can change all these things real quickly. You know, I can change the font but in one place, and it'll propagate through all the rest of the CSS files. Does anyone have a question about this? You look like you do.
Just put it all together.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll work through this as we go through the other development methods, other development classes as we go. But I wanted to give you a preview of what will be happening. So, how do we do this? All of you who have seen the meetup saw that we had 3 packages that we had to download. There was the XAMPP package, which is actually a WAMP stack. All right, what does that mean? Windows, Apache, MySQL, PHP. That's what WAMP stands for. Normally, most things are developed on a LAMP stack, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. XAMPP is actually called XAMPP because it's created for any OS, and they have packages for any OS. So it's X as in variable X. So Apache, does anybody know what Apache is? Does everybody know what Apache is?
Language.
The web server. It is what allows you to serve pages to other people. Now, the reason why we have it on our local installation is so that we can mimic a live site. That's why we need it, because, I mean, you could actually theoretically run a server off your web machine and open up to public. I don't recommend it, because you probably don't have everything secure. I don't have everything secure. But the Apache is there to provide you that functionality. Does everybody know what MySQL is? Anybody?
Database.
Database, that's where your content lives. Extremely important for WordPress. And PHP,
Language.
the language. And that's the primary language that we construct templates in PHP with, and WordPress with. And Perl is a scripting language that I don't know if anybody uses anymore. I used it like a decade ago, 2 decades ago.
So which one
Yeah.
should we have downloaded? 'Cause I took
So
the
what do
one-
you use
the
for
XAMPP
scripting?
for OSX.
PHP.
Which one?
I run PHP scripts usually.
Oh, PHP.
You had a question? We'll go over the actual process of the downloading in a second. Like, what was your? We'll just go through this theory first. For Bitnami, the Bitnami WordPress package that I had you download will allow you to install one WordPress locally really easily. It's pretty much point and click after you've downloaded it. And there's the link. But what if you want more than just one? If you try to use Bitnami twice, you're going to get an error. So we have to do it manually. But WordPress is known for its quote-unquote 5-minute install. Not really always 5 minutes, just depends on your server and how much experience you've had. But there's a 5-minute install. If you see it, it's actually pretty useless when you read that codex. You have to actually read several other links that are based off of it to actually understand it. Or you can look at my blog post, which I'll have at the end, which goes through everything that I'm going through today. But if you want to do multiple installations, you'll need to know about phpMyAdmin, which is, anybody have a question? Anybody have an idea? What do you think it has to do with?
Isn't it a way for you to connect to your database?
It
Like,
is.
database?
It is a database manager. Even though it says PHP, it's actually a MySQL database. I mean, it uses PHP to run that, to access it. And that's included in XAMPP. That's the P on XAMPP. And then we need the WordPress package, which is, there's that link, and that's one of the things I had you download. So let's do this. And there's the reference articles. That's on the slides. They're all clickable links with it.
And
Or
the
you-
slides will be attached to this meetup later?
It's already uploaded right now on the files.
Oh, I missed that.
You can also go to tinyurl.com/WP the new E to start with the first one, and it has links to all the other ones. All right. So some of you had some questions about what packages you should install. The first thing is it depends on if you're using a Mac or a PC. That's your basic question. And then the rest of it sort of depends on whimsy, whatever you want. So we'll go here. We'll go to, which ones are you having questions about? All of them? XAMPP or Bitnami or?
I could not get the Bitnami to install. It wanted a folder that,
And then it's asking for a folder, and what folder? I mean, I have to create one?
Oh, so you guys already tried to run through the installations?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get to those points as we go through the installation. What other, does anybody have anything about the actually the downloading?
Yeah, so if I'm running a Mac, it's OS X versions, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
should be OS X versions. Any other questions with actual downloading? Okay, good. So you guys good over there? I hope so. We will now go to my old machine, which is now my wife's machine. I'm so generous.
Yeah.
So generous. And we're using my wife's machine because it does not have anything installed on it that we need. Thanks. But it does have the packages already downloaded.
Should do the warning messages.
I don't even know if that works. Thanks for that.
All right. So
Oh, right. I need to pull this out.
So is Vietnam Cloud server?
You what?
This is free?
Yeah, these are all free packages. Open source, usually.
it is amazing, right?
It is. Okay, so WordPress Meetup. Are we back on here? Sweet. So the first thing we need to install is XAMPP. So we've already downloaded the packages from the Meetup, I hope. If not, you can do that later. This is going to be, we're going to go through the installation.
Okay, so we're going to install two choice of PHP, which
XAMPP, right?
version should
Which version of XAMPP?
7, 5, 7, 12, or 5, 5?
I would go with the 5.6, but you can also do the 5.5. It really doesn't matter, but I would do the 5.6 because it's more newer. It's newer, and it'll probably be more compatible with future things. Though, if you know your server, your live server, so the one that where your website's going to be finally, we're going to call live. We're going to call this the local. If you know that your live server has a very particular setup for Apache or PHP, try to find the package that matches that closest. Because sometimes there's little nuances, and we'll get, as we go along, which is I think next class, which is syncing your database between the two quickly, you might get some errors if they're not the same version. But those are things that we can fix. Those are not things we have to worry about usually.
So we'll just open it up and there's a wizard?
Yeah, so if you open up the package, you'll, like in my case, I have a question. I have antivirus running, continue with installation, yes. I have UAC, user account control on your system, continue, click OK. So get to the splash screen, just click Next. Now, on here you'll see we have the server information, which is Apache. You have the MySQL. You don't really need the FTP server, but you might as well have it. And the Mercury mail server you'll need for testing mail functionality of your WordPress. That's what we're doing, your WordPress installation, which is, you don't usually do that too often on your local server, but it's good to have. Tomcat, I have no clue what it is.
Take it off?
I think I remember what I looked at it once. I would leave it on there just because it doesn't take too much space. But if you have a space issue, take off the things you don't need.
I'm just getting it on.
Okay, what did you say, I'm sorry, about
I'm
the
taking off all that.
USC?
What's his? Is that the full? Should be
It says
a
you
zip.
can take it off later, because not all the functions are gonna run with it on. You can take it off on MS
Is that
Config.
fully downloaded?
Probably was.
So just say okay.
Run MS Config and you can take it off, turn it off there.
The which one?
The UAC.
Oh, UAC. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Do you need to turn it off?
See, it's giving me
Says some functions are gonna work.
You don't need to turn it off generally. There might be some things that we have to adjust for, but we should be able to get by those without having to turn it off right now.
It's giving me the same thing.
I don't know, Max. Is a DMG a normal package for Mac?
I haven't seen it before.
Here, go back to
Maybe I should go here.
haven't looked at the Mac since really like 2001. Let me see something. Yeah, it is installer.dmg, so it should be fine. Where's the file?
It's in downloads.
Okay, and when you do that, that comes up?
Double click.
Oh, right. That is so interesting. Am I doing it right?
Oh, sorry. Just... Isn't that weird?
That is very weird.
So I'm kind of stuck, huh?
Oh wait, what is that? That looked like it was doing something.
Oh.
Yay! Okay, we figured that out with the Macs. So if you have a Mac and you're downloading it, you'll get a DMG file we just found. And from that file, you just double-click. It'll look like it's an image. Double-click the center image, and that'll start loading the program. Is everybody at this stage yet?
Well, it's running something here. Working on it, trying to find the number.
You're good?
Yes.
She's working on it. You're good?
I just follow along with you.
Okay.
Oh.
You're... Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you might be past it.
Okay. Welcome to the setup wizard. Okay, I finally got that.
Still loading.
You're downloading still?
Core files, developer files.
Yeah, we'll have to probably work on yours after class.
Okay.
Um,
Core and
click
developer.
next. Yeah. Click next. Click next. That's easier than Windows even, for that installation. So you'll have all these things. I just leave them because you never know. Maybe you'll decide to learn something new and you'll need them later. It's better to have them on now, unless you obviously have space issues. Then click next. Your folder usually will be C:\XAMPP or /XAMPP, whatever it is on a Mac. That's fine, or you can change it. Oh, I need to change it on this case. So I'll make a new folder. Hold on. Come back here. Delete. I will actually delete that old folder. There we go. Click Enter. You can choose to learn more, or you can just unclick it. And then click Ready to Install and Install. This will take a little bit of time, during which you can ask me questions.
It looks like it's installing Bitnami for XAMPP at the same time.
So, from what I understand, Bitnami may own the company that produces XAMPP. So that's why the Bitnami logo popped up, or pops up. I'm not 100% sure on the connection with the companies. But while this is loading, does anybody have any particular questions about WordPress that I can answer? Why does it do this? Why does it do that?
I have a question. When I do work on a WordPress site locally on my machine, and I transfer the files over to the little server, it's always missing files or it's always missing something.
So somebody here was asking, when they do a local WordPress file, when they try to upload it to the server, it's always missing something. I don't know exactly why that's happening, but what we're going to be using eventually is Git instead of FTP. And Git, what it does is this versioning software, so it takes all of your things, all of your files, and we just have to say push to the web, and it'll take all the files and only the changes in those files and upload only the changes. So it will always know what files are in your local installation. So it'll make sure that those syncing's right. If you want to open up and if you have your files locally and you want to show me, I can look at it right now while we're waiting for this. This will take a while for everybody.
Bunch of
That would be
errors.
Git
It
push
finished
webmaster.
installing.
Yeah, we'll
Oh.
blocking application. Yeah, we'll. I'll go over that in a second. That's a good question to ask in a second when everybody's downloaded. Are you still downloading over there?
32 is okay? Here?
Yeah, should be good. That's your computer's a Win32, right? What version of Windows is it?
It is 7, but I work
Should
on
be fine.
96 all the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
as long as it's
Yes, I'm saying now.
32 is good for 64 even usually.
Now it's coming Vietnam again. Okay. No.
Continue with installation. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Next. Next.
I don't touch anything here.
You don't need to. If you have space issues, you can take off some of
I
them.
have a lot of space.
Then
big
just
machine.
next, and then click next,
The sample,
That'll be the file.
C-samp, okay.
Yeah. and you can unclick that because it'll just pop up a,
No, I don't care.
and then click next, and install. Are you bringing up those files?
Apparently from.
Okay. Awesome. How are you doing up here? You're just
Yeah.
finishing up?
Almost done.
How are you doing?
Oh, mine, it's almost done.
Sweet. And you?
I've downloaded this before on another computer.
Good. So let me show you the tutorials. They're on thenewie.com/blog. If you want to see the tutorials, which is unable to connect to the internet. Connect. Yeah, I would block when it comes up and it asks. I would have access on private, but not public, because if you have a person that is a security professional, if it's on public, that just opens it up to them and makes it your computer jelly.
You mean a hacker?
Huh?
You mean a hacker?
Yeah, well, you guys are all hackers, technically. Because a hacker, does everybody know what a hacker is?
Someone who hacks their way to success.
Hacking code. You just hack. You just
hack
do it.
Yeah.
It's the way I learned to build web pages was I looked at somebody else's code, I'd take it, and then I'd hack it up into what I needed. And that's sort of where it comes from. What is a local website? A local website is a development environment so that you can easier then upload it to your live website where everybody else in the world can see it. So we're doing this so that people, for developing purposes, you don't have to keep on uploading and downloading from your live website. You just work in your local website, and then when you're ready and everything's ready, you push it up to the live. Did that answer your question? Or did I confuse you? Because I confused myself. Sweet. Okay, I don't know why it got disconnected. Huh? You had the same thing too? All right, so the new e-blog. I'm almost done with my installation. This is probably the part that takes the longest, is the installation, depending on your computers.
Is it possible for us to reach you with a brief question?
You can absolutely reach me. If you go to thenewie.com, you can find all my information. Contact me. Just don't kill me.
Right.
That's all I ask. So on thenewie.com, towards the end of the blog. Yeah, Nene, we can probably do that in one of the future meetup classes. They want to know how to build a template, I think. So, and then this is the first one, installing a WordPress testing server. Part 1, XAMPP. That's what we're all doing right today. Goes through, I have images. These are the minimum things you need. But you can include more. And that goes through that. And then there's future pages where you can click at the bottom or at the top, I think, the other pages. So you can see part 2, part 3, part 4. So this is a good reference. Goes over all this. If you ever forget, these are the ones that you're probably going to need the most. is part 3 and 4 until you get used to it. Just simple.
Is it on press and publications?
Artsy, yes, you can. And that's the way that everybody, that's how way I learned how to do templates. What were you saying?
Where do I find that? Press and publications?
Under blog.
Oh,
Blog at the top. And then down at the bottom. That's just my portfolio stuff. Okay, so this is creating the uninstaller. Almost done. Yay! And when it is done, you want to go to the control panel. You might get an error. Does everybody have their XAMPP open? Yes? Well, you're following along.
It took me here. I gotta do it on 443.
Okay. Now we will talk about those errors.
Oh, I didn't actually finish.
Okay. Okay. Are you at this spec? Okay, good. All right. So, yeah. So it'll pop up that security question about whether or not you want it to be active on public or private. Take off the public. Make sure that the private is checked because you need to be able to run it locally. And it'll help with when you're in your own house being able to do that updating your phone automatically type of thing that we showed earlier. Okay, so if you have this error and you click Start for Apache and MySQL, you may get another error. And when it's running, it'll be green. How do you do it? Is it Apple F to find something?
Yeah. There it is.
Oh, I'm trying to find a program.
I don't know. You have to actually push it.
Yeah, I don't know what the buttons are on here. Oh, here you are. Manage servers. So on the Windows, you'll have on Mac, you'll have a slightly different screen, and you need to just go from there, go to Manage Servers on the Macs. And then you want to make sure that you're start. So go to the MySQL